manipulation, betrayal, and murder. Today, we unveil the stories of the most notorious women in the Bible, the crimes they committed, and the history behind them. If this topic intrigues you, please support us by liking this video and subscribing to the channel to help spread the word. In third place, we have Herodias. To understand her actions, it is crucial to know what happened to John the Baptist. John the Baptist, a charismatic and bold prophet, preached in the regions around the Jordan River, denouncing sins and encouraging people to repent. He gained many followers due to his impactful message and devoted life in the desert. Tensions rose when John the Baptist publicly criticized the marriage of Herod Antipas to Herodias. Herod Antipas, governor of Galilee and Perea, divorced his lawful wife to marry Herodias, who had recently divorced Philip, the brother of Herod Antipas. The marriage of Herod Antipas to his brother's ex-wife was not just a moral issue, but also a violation of Jewish laws. John the Baptist courageously denounced this illicit union, highlighting the moral consequences of such actions. His inflamed words did not go unnoticed by Herodias, who felt offended and threatened by John's message, desiring his death. However, Herod Antipas initially respected John the Baptist, seeing him as a prophet, although his words were sometimes perplexing. Yielding to political and social pressures, as well as the influence of Herodias, Herod Antipas eventually ordered John the Baptist's imprisonment. John the Baptist, even while imprisoned, became a symbol of resistance, remaining true to his principles. His imprisonment symbolized the conflict between divine morality and human ambitions and marked a turning point in history. Herodias was not satisfied with John's mere imprisonment. She wanted him dead. The climax of Herodias' story occurs during an extravagant banquet hosted by Herod Antipas. Herodias instructs her daughter, often identified as Salome, to dance and enchant Herod, who promises to grant her any request. Seizing the opportunity, Salome, guided by her mother, chooses John the Baptist's head on a platter as her reward. Herod, a man of his word, yields to the request, fearing the reaction of his guests, and thus John the Baptist is executed. In second place, among the most notorious women in the Bible, we find Athalia. Athalia's story unfolds in the corridors of power in Judah. The daughter of Ahab and Jezebel, she had a lineage deeply rooted in the political and spiritual instability of the time. Her son Ahaziah ruled the northern kingdom, but about a year later, both Ahaziah, king of Judah, and Joram, leader of Israel, met their tragic fates at the hands of Jehu. After her son's death, none of Ahaziah's descendants were old enough to take the throne of Judah, so Athalia saw an opportunity to consolidate her position. She took a bold step, seizing control of the throne and defying established expectations and traditions. Athalia's ambition knew no bounds. Upon assuming power, she saw the royal line of David as a threat to her newly acquired power. The Davidic lineage held special significance in Jewish tradition, representing the divine promise of a Messiah descending from David. To achieve her goal, Athalia took drastic and cruel actions, ordering the execution of all descendants of the house of David who could threaten her reign. This attempt to exterminate the royal line involved a series of violent murders. However, her plan was thwarted by Jehoiada, the high priest, who hid Joash, the only surviving descendant of David, in the temple. This bold action ensured the continuity of the Davidic lineage despite Athalia's efforts. When Joash reached an appropriate age, Jehoiada planned to crown him king, holding a public ceremony that revealed the Davidic descendant. The people, realizing the impending revolt, supported Joash in the legitimate restoration of David's line. Athalia, realizing the revolt, tore her clothes and cried out treason. However, the people, following Jehoiada and supporting the legitimate restoration, were not swayed by Athalia's cries. Joash was crowned king, marking a decisive moment. Athalia was captured outside the temple, taken to the royal palace, and executed, as recorded in 2 Kings 11:16, ending her reign marked by intrigue and violence. Finally, in first place, the most ruthless woman in the Bible is Jezebel. Jezebel, a Phoenician princess, married Ahab, king of Israel, sealing a political alliance. Her impact transcended the boundaries of marriage, bringing with her the worship of Baal, a pagan god, and introducing idolatry to Israel. Jezebel encouraged the construction of altars and temples dedicated to Baal, leading the people of Israel away from their traditional faith. She personified corruption and manipulation, promoting not only the worship of foreign gods, but also brutality against those who opposed her. She ordered the execution of several prophets of Jehovah, including an intense persecution of the prophet Elijah, whose life was threatened by the queen's wrath. Jezebel also abused royal power to finance and support hundreds of prophets of Baal, using state resources to promote this foreign religion. A significant episode of Jezebel's wickedness is the story of Naboth, a righteous man who owned a vineyard next to the royal palace. He refused to sell his property to Ahab, even when the king offered a fair compensation. Ahab's desire for Naboth's vineyard became an obsession, but the righteous man's refusal remained unwavering. Seeing Ahab's distress, Jezebel devised a malevolent scheme to satisfy the king's desires. She conspired to falsely accuse Naboth, orchestrating false charges against him. False witnesses were summoned to accuse Naboth of blasphemy against God and the king. Jezebel's wicked plan culminated when Naboth was condemned and stoned to death based on fabricated charges. The cruelty of this scheme reveals not only Jezebel's wickedness, but also the moral corruption that permeated Ahab in Jezebel's reign in Israel. Divine justice was not slow to manifest. The prophet Elijah confronted Ahab and Jezebel, announcing divine judgment for Naboth's death and declaring that Jezebel's wickedness would not go unnoticed by God. Elijah prophesied that dogs would lick her blood in the city of Jezreel. After Ahab's death, his son Jehu assumed the throne, driven by a divine mission, confronted Jezebel. The queen tried to seduce him with her cunning, but divine justice prevailed. Jezebel was thrown from a window by a royal officer, and her body was devoured by dogs, as prophesied by Elijah. We hope you enjoyed today's story. Leave a comment telling us from which city you are watching this video, and remember to subscribe to the channel to help spread our work. Hugs and stay with God.